Hey everyone, it's your favorite rugged individual. And yeah, today I wanted to talk about something which especially in the United States right now should be blatantly obvious, but I and many others believe that hyper individualism has gone too far. And actually, if you've been following this channel for a while now, I think you guys will know that about 2 years ago, I um made a video where I basically said like I lost hope, and the reason I lost hope was precisely kind of because of this, because you know we're living in such an uh economically unequal time where Um, it seems like building the life which a lot of our parents, and or I should say generations of Americans, parents and grandparents, were were promised. With me, it's a little bit different because I wasn't born in the United States. I'm a naturalized citizen of the United States, and like my parents, grandparents, great grandparents were all from Guatemala. But still, it affects us because, like, yes, we were able to claw out of poverty a little bit, but now it seems like for us, or and especially for people like me and my generation, that's not going to be possible the way it was for my parents in the early 2000s and stuff like that. And it's primarily because we live in a culture, and now United States culture has always been like this, let's be honest, but never to this extent. Like, you could say, oh, well, what about the Gilded Age? And I would agree with you partially. For sure, the Gilded Age. And I think we're in a second Gilded Age. That's, I think, kind of undeniable at this point. Um, because we're rapidly seeing the solidifying of an oligarchy in this country. Um, which again, it was always there, but never controlling the government directly in the way it has been recently. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. Uh, Sorry about my cough. And yeah, it's all because of hyper individualism, pretty much connected with capitalism, essentially, where, like, um instead of ensuring that most people have a good standard of life like it was back in the day, right? Where at least if you were a white person, that's another thing that people often forget to mention, right? Like all of these benefits that like people got from the GI Bill and stuff like that and whatnot, like um it was often extremely restricted for black GIs and stuff like that, or other racial minorities, and like that had a big effect. But either way, like, you used to be able to build yourself a pretty stable middle class life on just kind of like a working class salary, a single working class salary. And, for that to have just disappeared, man, like, and here's the thing, it is still possible, guys. I saw my mom do it as a single mother and stuff. When she when we were back in her custody starting in like 2013, I saw her do it, guys. I saw her do it, but like what I'm saying is that like those are the exceptions. And because we have this culture of just wealth accumulation, greed, and hyper individualism, it's all about me, 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 me. There's no amount of help that that people are spared to be given just by individuals. And I'm not even gonna say by the state, because we do have a social safety net, but as I've talked about before, especially as a disabled person, it has all these crazy restrictions. There are things like able accounts, but it's just systemically like you're not allowed to earn so and so amount of income, and you can't have so and so amount of money in your savings account. It's just extremely restrictive, guys. Now I'm cooking. I've been cooking for the past 2 years on something which I hope will eventually, help me attain independent wealth as a disabled man. But like obviously I don't know how that's gonna go. Um and yeah, guys. But what I'm more interested in, that was sort of just like a preface. Like everyone is, well, not everyone. Everyone except the super wealthy, man. I'm like I have seen kind of like three reactions to to the the resurgence of hyperindividualism, the the revenge of the Gilded Age. And number one is to become increasingly more radical. Um and those two things can kind of be separated into like, okay, are you gonna become a non-traditionalist and like a very, I don't know, I don't want to necessarily say left wing, because you can also be a sort of like libertarian and say like, okay, like, our society sucks right now, the answer is more freedom and stuff like that. Or you can be like a more traditional type guy where you you know you your answer is to return to the family, or some ideal that you have about the past, or to return to Christianity and stuff like that. Like I'm sure we've all seen, especially guys, like those orthodox workout and Catholic edits where they like intersperse pictures of Yeshua HaMashiach and uh like guys working out. And honestly it's kind of homoerotic. Wait, what? uh anyway, um yeah, or you can do, usually women, there's an, well, not necessarily just women, but a lot of women, and I even see it in my trends page. on YouTube Studio, um we'll go into like more astrological aspect, which isn't necessarily traditional, but I do think that like it can you can put it under the umbrella of like spirituality. Um and and because like no one does any outreach, we're all kind of just like in our rooms and in our own little worlds. This hyper individualism of everyone being on their own, picking yourself up by your bootstraps, um has actual real societal consequences, not just for you, not just for me, but for everyone. Number one, you have the inkwell issue, which I have personal experience with. It took me 2 years to get out of that. Number two, you have anti intellectualism generally on both sides. Like, you know, none of us is willing to really see or meet each other um where we can both agree. And I don't mean that in like a, oh well, we should just accept basism and all of this other crazy stuff usually that right wingers like to pull out, but like I mean like more or less class solidarity to take on like the Luigi situation. I'll make a video about that once the trial ends next year. But needless to say, like I think the Luigi situation, the Green Mario situation has was one of the biggest boosters definitely for class consciousness, guys, for real. Like um that's what I'm talking about. Like to realize that we need to fight the billionaires and stuff to get a more equitable society. To be honest, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I guess you could describe my view of it as like a very like run of the mill Hispanic Catholic view of things, in the sense that like I still believe in the traditional family. Like I want a family with a wife or other partner with kids, um where like I'm or I guess we should say like where we support each other and stuff like that. And you know now here's the I guess more liberal type thinking, or non-traditional type thing. I really don't care um like what you identify as or whatever, but I just think the Latino model of the extended family is very good despite its problems. I think the alternatives like ethical non-monogamy are more problematic than they're worth. Although, again, if it works for people, that's fine, whatever. But I'm just sharing my views. But yeah, it's gonna take more than a change in culture, though. It's definitely gonna take a and that's the thing, guys. Like we've been through one Gilded Age before. We can get out of it. Like we just have to get back to the fundamentals of an actually equal, this time, social democracy like the one we used to have, Except this time it doesn't discriminate against minorities. Um, Now would I like for to push further into the S word or like Christian socialism? Maybe. Uh, because I think that's important. That's an important part of Western culture for sure. Like even though I'm an atheist, but yeah, uh, that's really close to what I believe. But as far as what I think will come about in my lifetime, I think yeah, return to the um social democratic policies of the starting in the 1930s onward to around the 80s um is achievable. But again, we're going to have to start caring about each other more and excuse me, sacrificing stuff if we want that to happen. All right, guys, rant over. Thank you very much. Bye.